What they did not teach us in school, about age 16, you say to yourself, oh, I need to get a job one day. So I'm going to have to work real hard at a skill to make money. But you know what? I want to make a lot of money. So I'm going to work and work and work to become an expert at a skill. And then one day out of the blue, I get a relationship going. Now I got to keep the job going because she needs a lot of money. But now not only do I have to be an expert at my job, all of a sudden I have to be an expert at relationships. This is hard. She wants me to be masculine yet sensitive. Then we bought a house. Now I have to be a plumber. I have to be an electrician. I have to be a landscape artist. I have to be an expert at taxes. Now we have children. Now I'm a oh shoot, I just lost one of the kids. Hold on, we got another. Now I'm a doctor, I'm a mentor, I'm a theologian. And all of a sudden I hear from my wife, honey, I don't get enough attention. There is no time.
Words of advice here. You can give her the world, okay? And then she will take that world and run with it somewhere else and leave you behind and expect you to keep maintaining that world. Okay, so I'm about to share something very personal with you that I asked for when I was in a low in life because I was a sole provider. I had a family of 8. Again, you gave her the world, and then you just asked, she wanted to know what I wanted for my birthday. And I said, I just want a video from you guys just saying why you love me. That's it. I don't like things. I don't like stuff. Stuff doesn't, I mean, sometimes it's nice to get tools and like that, but I just wanted love for a second. Okay, so then she made me these videos. And then in these videos, honestly, I used it for a long time for that 6 months because she left me 6 months later. Okay, this video that I'm about to show you, she left me 6 months later after this video, exactly 6 months later, actually. And I used that video to heal, and I was healing, okay? And then 6 months later, a week before that, before she left, okay, we went hiking with these missionaries. I had no idea if she thought of me as an abuser or anything at all, actually, at all. We were hiking with missionaries. He even said himself, he goes, she didn't say anything that week when we were together and she was alone. I know, and she was alone with your wife, so you'd think she would have brought it up then, like, help if something's really going on. No, it's all a lie in the end.
Exactly, and the fact that you would even take into consideration a woman saying that she thinks that her husband is an abuser, either he's an abuser or he isn't. And if the guy is a sole provider for a family of 8, he ain't got no time to be dishing out knuckle sandwiches. The brother is either going to work or he's going to sleep. Trust me. And I interviewed a guy named Dr. Donald Dutton within my first year of doing YouTube, and he was an expert in domestic violence cases. And he said when you dig deeper into a lot of these domestic violence cases, you'll find that oftentimes it's the women that are initiating the domestic violence cases. But because when the police get called, they oftentimes take the woman's word as like the holy grail of evidence. The guy oftentimes gets arrested even if there isn't very much proof. It's just her word of mouth for it. Also, what he said, too, is when he goes into court, because he's a counsel for like these types of situations when people are getting divorces, he said that lawyers are incentivized to convince the woman to say that there's some level of abuse so that she can get more money and she can get custody of the children. And he says it happens all the time. He said when he's in court, you will be surprised of the lies that lawyers will tell these women to say that their husbands are committing, the atrocities that they say that their husbands are committing, and the women will get in bed with it, number one, because they want more resources, they want custody of the children, but also it contributes to like a victim type of storyline for these women to be able to get some level of empathy from other people after the divorce, after they're done destroying their families. So it was a super insightful conversation that I had with this man. He was well articulate. He was well studied in his expertise. He had been doing it for decades and decades. So he was really trustworthy source. But to hear how lawyers will convince the woman to turn on the man and say that he was committing some level of abuse just so that she can take more from him, I thought that it was insane. And I think that this stuff has to be socially engineered, or you would never have a system that's this biased and this corrupt and this just skewed to one side. It doesn't make any sense unless your goal is to just destroy families. The fact that a woman can take 50% of everything that a man earned just because she can say that she's not happy and just say that she was abused without having to prove anything, and she'll get 50% or sometimes more out of a man, you're hell-bent on just destroying families. I think personally that if you can't prove with physical evidence, whether that be historical reports of domestic violence or physical proof of your body being injured, and you can't prove any level of infidelity, you shouldn't be able to leave anything out of from your marriage. If you want to make a lifelong commitment and then you want to leave that lifelong commitment because you're not happy, you should have to walk and leave by yourself, just like you came in by yourself. A man should not be obligated to uphold your life when you're the one that decided to leave the marriage. That doesn't make any sense. I see women getting alimony. 92% of the alimony is paid from men to women, even though the reports say that 40% of American households are led by female breadwinners, which just doesn't add up to me. But I see a lot of women wanting to leave with the lifestyle that the man provided without the man. And the courts are used as the enforcement arm in order for the women to do so.
Okay, so that we went hiking with missionaries. That same week, she left me a bottle of gin on my desk saying, I deserve this, and she's so proud of me because I'm working so hard for the family. We go to Disney World. We come home. I drive home 20 hours from Disney World. She leaves me that day we get home from Disney World because I didn't want to go to somebody's wedding because I don't trust the fucking person at all. Still will never trust the person. And that's why she left me, because I didn't want to go to a wedding. There really was no fight. The fight was the wedding. I went to the garage. She ended up taking the kids, going to her parents' house, and then never came back. And then takes me to court and then makes all these statements that he's been abusing me for years and years.
Oh, man.
I'm showing all this evidence that you're going to see right now. Her own testimony, okay? Judge wouldn't take it. Judge would not take it. He wouldn't take even the note she left me with the alcohol saying, you deserve this so much. He wouldn't see that either. It's all on record, though. It's all on public record because I made sure it got put on public record, but he wouldn't take it as evidence. So the whole point was he didn't give a shit. I could be the perfect person. He didn't care because he just wants this whole money situation to go on so he can get his paycheck. So the county can get paid from this marriage now. So they're going to, doesn't matter how good you are. If she cries and says one thing, again, she doesn't even need testimonies. Not even one person testified saying I was an abuser. Okay? So she doesn't even need that. She just needs her own tears. He hurt me. He made my feelings hurt. And then they just run with it. And then that's it. And then you lose your whole fucking life. I had a very, very successful life. I am living in a fucked up life now because all she wanted to do was run out and have her own fucking fun. And then believes that everything I provided, I should continue to provide because I was married to you at one point. So you need to keep doing this for me.
Yeah, that's
because
absurd.
You were an abuser.
That's absurd.
Show me where. Show me one piece of evidence to where I ever fucking abused you. You have nothing because there never was fucking abuse. And this video, it just proves it even more. And now, 4 years later, this is 4 years later, June, it'll be 4 years. Okay. I am that same man.
And you know, I believe him because I can tell by how he's keeping himself composed. Because I ain't going to lie, if you taking half of everything I got and I ain't do nothing wrong, you might be all kinds of B words and H words and all kinds of, you might be getting called everything but a child of God in this instance, if I'm in this situation. So the way he's keeping himself composed tells me that he knows how to manage himself under anger. Even when there's nobody around but a cell phone and he's recording his story, he could be expressing more anger, but he's not. He's really just kind of saying that I'm disappointed because I worked hard and contributed and sacrificed for this marriage, something that I believe that was for my greater good and for my children's greater good, and this woman was able to just take everything away from me and continue to get things from me even when I didn't do anything. The state wants men to take on all the responsibility of the marriage without having any authority, and then you act surprised when fewer and fewer men want to get married. They're making it very hard for me to defend marriage. I think it's a beautiful thing for a stable household for children. I think it's a beautiful commitment that two people can make together to fight the nuances of life together. But when you make it so that one person is incentivized to drop out of the contract, you can't be surprised when at an 80% rate they're choosing to drop out of the contract.
This is who I am. I'm not perfect, though. I'm not perfect at all. I'm a fucked up man, and I wish you would have said some of my fucked up things in there because I don't care anymore. But no, I was never, ever the abuser, ever. Okay, my heart loves, and she knows it. This is why it's been so long, because a lot of people don't understand. Why has it been so long, and why won't she let you see the kids? Because I have custody of my kids. Because she can't face the fact she's hurting. She hates what she did, and women will always keep it going. When have you ever saw a woman expose something? When? They don't expose their shit. They don't ever say, I was wrong here. They don't do it. Men do this. We do this all the time. It takes us a while to get there. We have a lot of pride, and then we do get there. They won't ever get there. They will ride it out and ride it out and ride it out. So the only way for me to fix this right now, I already know it, is for me to bow down and go, you're so right. I'll go to all these therapies. I'll take these drugs because I love you so much, because that's what you're supposed to do.
Yep.
No. They still wanted me to go to AA when I was 9 months sober.
Exactly. They want you to be docile even in the place that you call your own house. The thing that you work for to provide for, they want you to be docile inside of that. They want you to have no control or authority outside of that, because then once you go into the world, you're used to having no control and no authority. And they don't want men that feel empowered, that have control and authority over anything in their lives, because once men start to feel that level of empowerment and a sense of level of responsibility also, those men are stronger. Those men are willing to stand up for things. But they want you to be docile. They want the women to have complete control, and the complete control is because they can use the state at any moment as the enforcement arm to enact their will.
I was 9 months sober and thriving, and they're drilling me to go to AA still because they want you to be this puppy.
Yep.
You're not a fucking puppy. That's why she left, because I stood up finally and said, no, I'm not your fucking puppy. I'm not going to that wedding. Fuck you, basically. So stand up for yourself and realize they're going to screw you one day probably. So just prepare. So this is going to be a long video, but this is my story. And the last thing, this audio is on public record. Again, they wouldn't take it, but it's still on public record, so I can do whatever I want with it. So guys, prepare. Always put everything on record, because even if they don't take it, you can use it later, and nobody can take you to court for it because it's already on record.
Just so you guys know, I listened to the audio. It was about 8 minutes long, and it was just her confessing her love for him, saying that he's a righteous man. She loves that he has a respect for God. She loves his work ethic. He deserves everything that he's worked hard for in life. She's going to be with him forever. All these different sweet nothings, because he said in 6 months she divorced him because he didn't want to go to a wedding. And these are the situations that make it hard to defend marriage. I'm not going to lie to you. It's very hard nowadays to defend marriage when you look at the statistics and see how raw-dogged men are getting in these institutions. Somebody has to do something about this. I think the boomers are clinging on to power. They don't want to solve any of these issues because they didn't have to deal with any of these issues. They created these issues with the feminism and the sexual revolution. They benefited from them because of the free liberal sex and blah, 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 blah. And now they're in positions of power. They don't want to do anything about it. They're on their way out. They put their heads in the sand, and instead of solving the issues, they just try to act like they don't exist. But eventually there's going to be the next generation that comes into power, and then my generation that comes into power, and people that actually had to deal with the consequences of all these BS laws, especially within family court, and the tide is going to start to turn. We're going to see this stuff start to turn, and we're going to start to see stronger families, because with this, we're not going to have strong families. And I think that there is a destructuring or decentralizing of the American family that would, to be completely honest, there's plenty of propaganda that says that that's their goal. They want to promote alternative family styles. They don't want the nuclear family. They want to see more girl bosses. That's literally what the propaganda says that it wants. And then when you see these results in society, people act surprised. This man was taken advantage of. And there are a lot of guys that have similar stories. The fact that you can slander a man's name in court and say that he was an abuser and take more from him because of a false allegation is insane to me. I don't think it's right. I think it should damn near be considered criminal. I think your best way to hedge your bets against situations like this is to have more things in your life that you care about outside of your marriage. And I know that sounds crazy, but if you have other things that fulfill you outside of your marriage, your relationship with your friends, football games on Sundays, don't just get so consumed with your relationship and your marriage that you lose yourself as a man and your own identity. Because if you place all of your happiness within your marriage, if this woman who's sporadic strips that marriage away from you, now you don't have a leg to stand on. All of your happiness goes with it. And that's when you get the sense of dread and the sense of helplessness. So as long as you keep filling your life with other things that fulfill you outside of your marriage, and I'm not saying your marriage has to fall second to these things, I'm just saying you have to continue to involve yourself in stuff that makes you happy and fulfilled even outside of your marriage, whether it be hobbies, it could be your dedication to church, it could be you hanging out with your buddies every weekend, whatever it may be. You need something outside of this that also brings you a level of happiness and fulfillment. It seems like the guy got his kids. I think that's a good thing. And I think that's a better situation than most guys end up in, if I'm just completely honest. But I think this is a weapon against the modern man to make us feel weak and helpless. And I don't think we can despair. I don't think we can dread. I think you have to find a woman more now than ever that has quality, because there are some women that will want to force you to be the way that they want you to be. And if you refuse to, they'll go to these measures in order to use the state as an enforcement to split you up from your family and take half of everything you own. And I think it is a very dangerous state. But but I don't. I think you do have to be careful with marriage nowadays. I'm just gonna be quite frank with you, but I do think it can be a fulfilling endeavor if you find the right person. Let me know in the comments below if this video was a W or L, and give me the HBO special as I help a brother out special. Hit the like and the subscribe button for more content. Till next time.